morning. My name is Charisma Lester, and I decided to do my project over the cultural competence concept of self-awareness. So self-awareness is the ability to have a clear understanding of your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, or if you have any prejudices, assumptions about another cultural group or anything like that. It's just being aware of that. And if you want to even go more into depth, you can go as far as identifying with the different culture groups that you identify yourself with. So with me, social identity, I'm African American, I'm Christian, I'm a female, I'm a young adult, I'm heterosexual, I identify my strengths and weaknesses as well. Goal-oriented, I'm a visionary, have self-control, resilient, and I can also be indecisive, stubborn, naive, and have poor time management. So it's just to practice self-awareness, you just have to, know yourself. Okay. And cultural competence is a learned and tested awareness of values and behavior in a specific community while having the ability to consistently deliver professional care or serve professionally using that awareness. So it's very essential that as a social worker, you practice self-awareness and you are culturally competent so that you can give the best care, to your client. And if you're not competent in that area, you have to, be able to say, maybe this is not, an area that you're competent in, so you can be able to refer that client to someone else who can give them that help. All right, and this is just another diagram just showing the social worker, they're aware of their assumptions, their personal values and beliefs, stereotypes and biases, and the social worker practicing cultural competence and self-awareness that will be able to serve the client competently, make them feel comfortable and welcome. They're culturally understood, and then the client will foster trust with the social worker, and they know that their motive is that they have their best interest at heart, and they're going to give them the help that they need. Okay, and next I just came up with some different scenarios, and just when I'm going through these scenarios, just think about how you can practice self-awareness and how, maybe what your approach will be with these different clients. So first, the first scenario, maybe a woman from Kenya, she approaches you, she just found out that she contracted HIV, and she was afraid to tell her family, and she had a fear of getting beat by her husband. So just think about, maybe some prejudices you have, or, some assumptions that you might have when she approaches you. You have to be able to set that aside in order to give her the best care. The second scenario, the Jehovah Witnesses and vaccines. So say there's a family that practices, the Jehovah Witness, their religion's Jehovah Witness, and maybe their son or their daughter, they want to go to school, but in order to go to school, you have to, have certain vaccines. They don't believe in taking vaccines or giving blood, so how would you help that family? An Ethiopian family and terminal illness. So culturally, with Ethiopian families, say if a family member has been diagnosed with something, you wouldn't tell that individual that has been diagnosed, you would tell the family first. So kind of think about how you would, approach that. Hebrew Israelites, my brother's Hebrew Israelite, so I kind of have my own assumptions and, stereotypes about, certain things, but as far as employment goes, because Hebrew Israelites, they don't work on Saturdays. So Friday from sundown up until the next day from sundown, they don't work. So say if that person is struggling with trying to get employed somewhere, that might be hard because most jobs require you to work on weekends, especially first coming in. You're not going to find very many jobs especially without an education, you're not going to find very many jobs that allow you off on weekends. So how would you approach, that situation? South Koreans and hospice care. So not until February of this year did they introduce hospice care to South Korea. So they know nothing about hospice care. So say if you have a relative that has been diagnosed with a terminal illness and hospice care was never an option for them, explaining them that, this is an option, how would they take that? And last, you have a Chinese male. He might be the only child in that family, and, honor and dishonor is very big in the Chinese culture. So say if the Chinese male, he's smart, he has everything going for himself, but he's struggling with his sexual identity, and he finds out that he contracts HIV, how would he go about finding, treatment for himself, because he feels like maybe he dishonored his father and he doesn't deserve that treatment? How would you convince him that, otherwise? So just practicing self-awareness, you can, think about how you would approach these different situations. All right, and again, just to kind of wrap it up, self-awareness in social workers. These are basically examples like if you don't practice self-awareness, how you can impact a client. So a lack of self-awareness, it can be damaging and disempowering when working with vulnerable individuals. It can lead to a lack of reflective skills and ability, which constitutes dangerous practice. How we are seen by others and how we come across to others. All right, and that is my presentation. Did you have any questions or comments?
So my question would be, so you have identified your weaknesses, so what are you doing to work towards making those your strengths?
I think that's something that you should, you're aware that you have those weaknesses, so that's something that you should work on, especially within this field. You have, especially time management. Like me, I know I have to work on time management, but that's something you're aware of and you should be working on that every day, especially within our field, because you do have to have, effective time management, and even like your prejudices or your biases, you have to, again, like I said in the presentation, you have to leave all of